Dummy Switch Pod. The boys are
Yes,
back.
sir. Yes,
How are you,
sir.
Chris?
Kodas. Hey, man, I feel like I should be in Griquas land right now, man. What a weekend. What a win for them. And it's Bok week, so I'm good, man. Like excited, you know. So looking forward to to this episode. Courts. How are you doing?
Good myself, good myself. The Dan Carter's of podcasting here to give you our opinions,
hmm
our flagrant takes. And like you said, the Griquas, they didn't just take their bus back. They also took a trophy back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or fortunately, depending on who you support. Church announcements. Obviously, you can find us here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Yeah, I think we almost on 500 subscribers, so let's get that up. Let's get some comments as
hmm
well.
Yep.
And I think start with news of the day. A bit of discussion on that. Not too much in terms of change, but the box squad's been announced,
Yeah.
and basically we had known Fassi was injured. He was going to drop out. We had known
Yeah.
Luid was also injured. So the two changes in the starting lineup, we've got Eben coming in for Luid, and then we've got Willemse coming in for Fassi. I
Yeah.
mean that as in he's going to fullback, and then Damien Delende is coming in at center.
At center,
So
yeah.
those are the only changes in the starting lineup. In terms of the bench, injuries that we didn't know, Grant Williams is injured, so you've got Fairflight
Mm,
stepping in there.
mm,
You've got Vessels again. I think this is the third match in a row where he's moving cover. He's now moving back to hooker cover, and you've got Bowen
yeah.
Fenter now coming in at prop cover. So if you just look at the team all together, it's Oxenchair, Malcolm Marks. Hey, Ox has been working. He's been earning
Yeah,
those wages. You've
no,
got
he's been inning, hey?
uh, hey, the match day fees. He's also stacking that paper with the match
Hey,
day
man,
fees.
he's stacking it up, dog. And he's backing it up with the performances as well. You know, he's doing the
Yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah.
He's doing the job. He's
Uh,
doing the job.
Malcolm Marks there, Dutoy, Eben Etzebeth, Ruan Nokia, Sia's playing six, Peter Steph, Jasper at eight. We saw the difference he made. Again,
Yeah.
for what we have, that's probably the strongest as we can go. Looking nine, Kobus Reinach retained a few mistakes here and there, but I'm not overly
Yeah.
critical.
Squad man. He's gonna do his job, man.
Yeah.
He's the squad man. He's gonna do his job. Make no mistake, you know? He's a squad man because he does his job. Like, be honest, that's why
Yeah.
he's lasted. He does his job, you know. So,
Yeah.
and you can't fault him, man.
You can't. Sasha, you've got Sasha there. We'll see how long he plays this time because I mean he did have a bright start,
Yeah,
but taken
yeah,
off. Ethan Hooker kept on the wing, great performance, great under the high ball. Dialendi, we'll see what he brings in terms of combination with Moody, and then we've got Colby on
yeah.
the wing, Damian Willemse, who played a large part of the Test match at 15,
At full
starts
back,
at 15
yeah.
this time. Like I said, Vessels, Bonfenta, Volcolo, RG, Quacha, Fairflight, Mani's there, and then Esterhazen obviously covering flank, covering center.
Center. Yeah. So it's like a 6-2 hybrid type of, yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
How
type
do
of.
you feel? Yeah, how do you feel about this team? Because from my perspective, I would have wanted to see continuity, and I wouldn't have wanted to see uh, a reversion to the first test team that took on the All Blacks. I wanted to keep the second test team because I think that was just the question. Were they going to go with those guys again, or were they going to stick with the same guys
Yeah.
basically, and then just fill in injuries? And that's what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, we've got our answer here, you know, and yeah, I think the continuity aspect, yeah, because I think maybe, you know, in terms of intensity, in terms, doc CV for CV, they can go with Argentina, you know,
Yeah,
like this team, they'll be able to handle what Argentina is going to throw at them. Because for me, it's not so much about, yes, the team and the continuity. Yes, it's a big part, but for me, it's going to be about the execution. Because let's be honest, in so far, what the big thing that we've seen, it's all about the execution, how they're going to go about doing the business against these guys,
Yeah,
because it's going to be a different picture. And you quite rightly mentioned the center combination, Allende Moody, how that's going to pan out. It's one way you're a bit because it
yeah.
can it can if they get picked apart over there right there through the guts, Argentina can be dangerous. So that's why I say it's not so much about the team. I think I'm okay with the team. Good continuity. You're seeing most of it there. I think we're expecting more and much of the same, in terms of the intent that the guys had. But obviously, it is a different type of team that they're facing, and yeah, the execution, man, for me, quarters.
Yeah, for I think the points that you hit on execution, they have to keep it tidy. This is a
Mm,
team that you don't you could see potential fast breaks, turnovers, scoring.
yeah,
That's where they're going to try and hit you.
it,
So
yeah,
from an execution point, you want it to be tidy. And for me, it's just keeping the territory in kicking,
yeah,
play in
yeah,
advanced places in the field, and then this side that has looked more attacking, that they can finish some opportunities and keep the momentum and
yeah,
keep the ball rolling. So for me, it's just keep that
yeah.
territory game. The chances will come when you're in their territory, and yeah, it's I'm positive. I'm positive, although
Mhm.
like you said, it can be tricky playing in Durban. So
Mm.
we'll see how it goes.
I mean, overall, I think because the guys already, uh, I mean, everybody is already. They've set the standard. They've set the, we've said it, put it to where it's to be. It's a matter of making sure that no, it's still there this week, and I think they'll get the job done. It's just for me. It's just I just want to. The only thing that I'm not, I wouldn't say worried about, but that I'm curious to see is how they're going to handle the Argentina pictures that they bring on defense because
Yeah.
they fast, they come around the corner, they've got different angles. They will test you, with ball in hand for sure, and they can sustain it. And they're better than what they've been, in recent years, and especially if they get it right, they can sort of build a buffer, and yeah, you don't want that to happen. Just got to kill their game, really, you know.
For me, this is the pivotal match in terms of I don't think New Zealand are going to win two games. I don't think Australia are going to win two games. So, or even if New Zealand do, I think that we have the potential
We
to,
haven't even won two
yes,
games as well because talking about that is if you look at the record,
yeah.
so far it's a strange rugby championship. This one, so
Yeah, I mean, it's like Ox said after the first game that they lost, because you lose one game, you think it's all over, and he's like, there's still a lot to play for. So there still is
mm,
a lot to play for. And why I also say the position that we're in is that the second leg is now it's not being played in Argentina,
neutral ground. Yeah,
neutral
that
ground.
counts. Eh? That counts. That
Yeah,
counts.
so it's a very big opportunity for the Boks. I think this is the one where they can put themselves, they can clinch the title here.
Mm, yeah,
Uh,
it is,
speaking,
and like you say,
yeah,
it's pivotal. It's a big one, man. It's a really
yeah.
big game.
Speaking of the rugby championship, uh, yeah, there's gonna be some reforms to the tournament moving forward. And I mean, it comes when the tournament is at its most competitive. Now it seems like they're leaning more in place of traditional tours and kind of Lions series, if you want to call
Mm,
it, throwback to those kinds of tours. But now we're going to have New Zealand coming in a Lions style tour. We're going to have
yeah.
the same thing happening between Australia and New Zealand, and then
Mm,
sort of two guys are left out. And when we have ours with Australia, then two guys also left out. So we're gonna see what happens there. They say it's gonna intensify rivalries, which I do agree with. The issue
mm,
is that we like this tournament, and it's something that
yeah.
we'll just have to adapt
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Something that we have to adapt to, but I mean, like, surely somehow, we can find a way to get at least have the tournament going, even
Mm.
if it's not within that calendar, but those fixtures, to say, okay, maybe maybe not ideal, but then in June, if you know you're not going to be playing Argentina or Australia, you're going on tour, play those games then before you go on tour. I don't know. I'm just,
Mm.
as a way to keep the rugby championship tournament going. Because the tours it'll be good, because for the
No, the
local
tours are
teams
gonna
when
be
you
nice. The tours are gonna be
gonna
nice. Trust me, especially the first one. The first one next year is gonna be nice.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
gonna
you
be
see.
a few road trips.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna be
see.
some long weeks, some long weeks, and some
You
good
see.
times will be had. So there's
Mm,
th there's that part of it, and I do believe it will intensify rivalries, and it will be a spectacle that we can enjoy. And it's when we go to New Zealand, the same thing is gonna happen there. So
yeah.
these things will be monumental, and it will be good entertainment. But again,
Yeah.
you're breaking up something that is kind of at the height of
It
its
is starting to
yeah,
become what we've always wanted to see, where it's super competitive and it's not just, I mean, if you look at how many rugby championships, it's all one-sided, New
yeah,
Zealand, even Bledisloe, and it's looking like it's about to even out big time. So, yeah, quarters. Hey, that's why I say, like, it's the tours, yeah, they're gonna be good for sure. But I mean, you'd hope that they would think of a way to keep the rugby championship going like they do in the World Cup
yeah,
cycle, and they, you know, lessen the fixtures. But alas, it's gonna be good. Um, we're looking forward because now it's going to, I think now it's going to really, we may be in the most fortunate position, going forward because of the depth that we've built. You
yeah,
know, it's possibly another opportunity to breed some different or evolve the mentality even further, of winning everywhere you go, and so there can be a lot of good that can come out of it.
yeah. Moving on, just a bit of news, particularly around the URC starting this weekend.
Mm.
Uh, Q and Horn, Lions captain from this week, not
I
offered
knew you were gonna go there.
an extension yet, or an acceptable extension. And this is kind of an issue that happens at the Lions, where it happened with Chituka
Yeah,
as well, where they don't offer players extensions early enough. They leave it late to do an extension, and then it creates
yeah,
uncertainty, and it
yeah.
creates people circling around for players. The Bulls are circling around for Q and Horn. You'd
The
be the
Sharks
perfect
will be
replacement for
circling
Billy
around.
LaRue. Then the Sharks also said, not just them, we also would like to acquire his services.
But we
So
see
you've got to,
something in you.
yes, the Sharks, although they have Fassi there, so
Hey,
two Springbok fullbacks. I don't know how that would go. They must just
yeah.
back young Hakim Kuneni.
No, no, because you can see why they,
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But yes, if you're the Lions, you want to lock down your marquee players. I mean,
yeah.
you just
Especially when you've got more money now. We
yeah,
are now part
yeah.
of revenue sharing, and then
Burger
this
King
is what you're
money,
supposed
man.
to use the money
Burger
for.
King money.
Yeah,
Burger King money. You must use that man. People are buying burgers out there, like you know, use
yeah,
that money because I mean, you like think about it. You recently just signed, one of the most exciting, talented number nine to come out of the country in a long time in Hashim Pete. You've got Shegani coming through, so you're looking like you want to build a solid team. You've got already guys that are locked down. Your Henko fan fakes that are there. QAnon, everybody knows that he's a quality fullback, he's a quality player,
yeah,
and already done so much, proved himself too many times for
yeah,
you, the Lions. You telling me you're not doing everything to say, look, this is not even a negotiation. Let's sort you out, because
yeah,
we want you here for the next 5 years, or 3 years. We want you here, and we think you can help us get to where we need to go.
yeah. Exactly.
What's so hot? No, come on, the Lions. This, this, you know what it is. It's the hyena. and we know the hyena.
But it's like I've said, this is just basically a repeat of what happened with Vincent
Yeah,
Chituka, where they took too
yeah,
long to put an offer on the table, and then he's receiving offers from other places,
yeah.
and then he's like, the Lions come in and
Ah,
say, okay, we'll match.
mm-mm.
But that doesn't show that you want the guy. You know, it's just like, okay,
You didn't
now
match
that you
the
force,
energy.
now we'll match that someone else is
No
coming.
way.
Then you're gonna say it, but oh, guys. So if no one had
You
come,
know.
you weren't gonna give me money. You
Thank you. You wanted to see. You were like, no, let's see if some anybody wants. You know, it's like that.
yeah,
Yeah, well, you know what I mean, right? Let's see if
yeah,
anybody wants you. And then and then now it's like, no, no, yes, I'm still
yeah.
interested. No, no, you don't play those games. You don't play
Yeah,
those
because
games.
then the ship has sailed, which was
Yeah,
the case with Chituka, where you've got a player who would have probably committed, and it goes for so many others in the Lions case where they could have
yeah,
offered contracts. Now they
it's too
can't even
many.
complain about the money, but alas, it's ongoing situation. Now Sharks and Bull supporters are fighting over a player that is still contracted with the Lions, so he
You
might
know,
just resign. He might just resign,
you
but
look, he might just, but
yeah,
it'll definitely leave a sour taste in the mouth to say, okay,
yeah,
why aren't these guys just signing? You know, why aren't these guys
yeah,
just, or even at least, just it with like 2000 or whatever, and then you know what I mean, though,
yeah,
like, and just if they really want to make the deal,
yeah,
if they really want him, it just doesn't make sense, man. Especially a player that's done so much, and you can see
yeah.
that he became a buck in your setup, and it's marketing for you easy, where guys they want to come there because they can see it happening. Like yeah, honestly speaking, man. And that's why you see that's why even in finals and last minutes and
Mm.
things don't happen. You see,
Anyway, moving on to other players and acquisitions. Stormers, they've got some of the Griquas boys there. They've got Christian
yeah,
Weah,
no,
Mart,
yeah,
and Caleb Abrams. Caleb Abrams, who it was reported that he was on loan from the Bulls, but it seems as though he was just it's like he was on loan for a period and then he signed and then now he's going
yeah.
on loan to the Stormers. And then you've got Dlamini going to the Sharks, the captain as well.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I think it's good to see, and great reward for those guys because I think we've seen it throughout the Currie Cup. They showed that consistency, and they were big for their teams, making a difference, making a
Yeah,
positive impact in how in helping the team get the result. And I mean, you can even look back at the final, the guys, those names that you mentioned, you can see each player had contributions, all the
yeah,
players, yes, but I'm just, obviously we're talking about these guys. They've had significant contributions. So yeah, it's good to see. And you hope, they'll get a proper look in and,
yeah. That's
you
the
know,
thing. That's the thing
mm,
is that they actually go there and they get minutes.
yeah,
Just
because it's one thing
other
signing,
yeah,
and it's another thing getting some game time. Yeah.
other things. URC Sharks flying out, lots of injuries. Just to mention there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to touch on that. And then the same thing with the Lions. They flying out. I think they flied out today. And Chris Smith, he was concussed in the game, so he won't be there. So,
Yeah.
but I think the Sharks injury list is more notable in that way.
Yeah. You have to ask yourself what's going on, man. Yeah. 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 What's
Mm,
going on over there? Like, you can't always, and I mean, it's been on now. Consistently a big group of players that are injured, So
yeah,
it's maybe something that be looked into and not left too late, especially at a club like the Sharks. It would be interesting to find out what type of injuries that the guys have each and every one of the guys that are out. But yeah, URC it begins the best league, so it's a tough assignment away from home.
yeah,
Uh, the Warriors, they can play. So
mhm,
and I feel if this season nothing happens, then yeah, no, people are gonna go. Yes, I saw they brought in some. they brought in
Yeah.
another head coach
They
who's a
yeah,
head
yeah,
coach
speak on that. They've brought in if this is the Sharks already
who's a
have
head coach.
yes, the Sharks already have a big technical staff. Then you as a head coach, you're bringing in another head coach. Obviously, two minds are better than one, but to bring
Yes.
in another head coach is something else. It's very, yeah,
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. You see here, it's like this. See, it's like this. Actually, they've already brought him in, you
yeah,
know. Plum may be on some borrowed time where they're like,
yeah,
you know what, if a couple of results don't go the way, it's gonna be just a you know,
yeah,
us he's a head coach, you know,
yeah,
and he can go in. I wouldn't be surprised if he said, you know, Schultz got a history of doing that to coaches, you know, even Plum himself, you know, has been done dirty before, different regime, but still, you bring in two head coaches. Or what's going on here? You know,
yeah.
what's
It's
going on?
just
What are you lacking that you have to bring in like another head coach? You know, to come and help
yeah,
with what's missing. You know, in the but we'll see. But for
yeah. It's
me, if
like
the results don't come,
your husband bringing in another husband. It's you know it's just it makes a funny family photo. That's all I'll say. It just makes a funny family photo where now I'm just like, what's going on here? You know, who's in charge?
who's the boss really, you know,
Yeah,
because there's many bosses there, because there's the director that's there, then there's the
yeah,
head coach and the head coach that's coming in, assistant, you know. So yeah, all I'm saying is that if the results don't come in this URC, you know, then yeah, definitely people gotta go. I'm sorry, there's gonna be some changes, and
yeah,
this is it. You know, it's gotta be. They have to get the results. We have to make knockouts, win some more trophies. Yes, the one EPCR that time, but now we need bigger things, and we want the league.
yeah.
You know, so yeah, but we'll see. You know, we keep on believing, and it seems like we still have some services of certain. You know, we use our resources up until right down to the end. So at least, at least we've got that. You know,
They're
and
holding Klechani until midnight
we
at
got him
on New
hostage.
Year's Eve.
We
His
know
contract
we're not letting
expires
him
on New
go.
Year's Eve. They're
Yeah.
holding him hostage.
You know, it is gonna play, it is gonna jam.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we're gonna see some good rugby, you know, and like yeah, let's leave last season behind and yeah, the guys execute, and what a chance on tour to go build
Mm.
a bond and do whatever you gotta do, you know. So it's a good opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it from us today. No. Okay,
Hey
well,
man, where you
moving
going? Where you
to
going? Where
we're
you
moving to
going?
the Currie Cup final. Currie Cup final,
Yo.
Lions hosting Griquas. Uh, Obviously the backdrop to this, Lions lost last season's final at home in
Yeah.
devastating fashion, and that was
Yeah.
foreshadowing of what happened on the
Mm.
day again. Going into it, obviously there was talks of the Lions being a URC team versus the Griquas who aren't, and Peter Berg saying he didn't want to hear that word all week. If you would get a fine, and he said, and no one said that word all week. He didn't want to hear URC. They're a team. We're a team. And
Yeah.
the man, he came prepared.
Yeah.
He really came prepared, and he came with a game plan that ultimately it worked flawlessly. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it was a tight game, but what he did was they had a very tight interior defense. Besides that, he had pick and goes in the same direction around the ruck, and a lot of the time it caught the Lions guys offside, and they just reaped the benefits of that over and over and over. And they kept
Mm.
on building momentum by just pick and goes, same side, down the middle, down the middle, down the
Yeah.
middle. And that's ultimately what got them the game. And it created momentum for them to also go wide, but that tactic, even in itself, got them tries.
Yeah.
The other thing, the other thing is to be successful in that, you need to have hard carries. And the guys had hard carries on the day and they showed heart, they showed determination. And ultimately, they got the job done in a heartbreaking fashion for the Lions.
Yeah, because I mean, you said it all there. I think they just and they did well as well to sort of kill the momentum of the Lions as well.
Yeah.
Because the Lions, it's that wave. When they and even then, when they were looking like they were starting to get, it was, forcing a mistake or, because the defense was just in their faces, a bad pass not going to hand and, they're not able to control the ball. So it was always relieving that pressure, and
Mm.
that's how the Griquas managed to stay in the fight and hang in there and take the chances that they were offered. I mean, if you saw it as well. I mean, the first try, it was a result of defensive pressure and poor execution
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
Lions, and they just pounced on that. And from there you could just see how they got that belief, that courage to say, no, we can keep on. You
And
know,
in
we can.
exactly what you're talking about, if you look at that move, the Lions try to go side to side to side to side, and the Griquas just they kept a very strong interior defense,
Mm,
and they just kind of just marshaled them to where it was
yeah,
ineffective, and they were just going side to side. They weren't really going forward.
yeah. And forcing them into the mistakes, and you could see it was more like the Lions had more of a point to prove as much as the Griquas had their own points to prove, but. You could see the Lions were desperate, in the sense that there wasn't much variation in what they were trying to do to say, okay, how do we,
Yeah.
get, how do we just, the Lions were always going to play the way that the Lions play, if you know what I mean. And I
And
think
it
the
it
Greek,
looked like there was an arrogance in that, where they were like,
yeah,
"We gonna win doing this anyway." There was
know,
no change. It just looked like they were just like, we're gonna
yeah,
win doing this.
we're gonna break it down eventually. I think that's the thing, to say no, they'll go away eventually. If you know what I
Mm,
mean, to say no, they'll go away eventually, and they didn't, and there was no plan B, with all
mm.
the coaching IP that was in the box, you know, they couldn't,
You're
they
talking
could
about
they could.
coaching IP though. You're talking about coaching IP. There was a breakaway shot at the halftime, and the
Mm,
man in the circle having last words and talking was Cash. So someone else is taking the post-match interviews, and someone else is the first person on camera, but he's the one that's leading the team, so it must be put on him this loss.
yeah, because he was the one that's in charge, right?
Mm,
So, but that's what I'm saying, is that with all of that, they because yes, for them it's a big question mark. Yeah, we understand it's a Currie Cup and all of that, and URC what, but they would have expected, to have learned from last season. Because I mean, even if you look at that last penalty that was given away, look, on the balance of it, quarters, if either team, because I felt, as much as yes, there were, tactically things that the different teams did to, nullify each other or make it a close game. It was a good game of rugby, if you were neutral, it was, because it was like, okay, what's going to happen? And if either team won, you weren't going to be too upset about it. But at the end of the day, for me, it's just the Lions would have really expected to have learned from last season. That
yeah,
last penalty, it was unnecessary, because if you look at it, there was some sort of defensive momentum that was being generated, and
yeah,
you keep on pushing these guys back. At most, you were going to force George Whitehead to try another drop goal, which he was missing all day, you know, and you could get possession back. So those things, as much as, they're done enough, but just not enough, because yeah,
yeah,
that's an individual error. So as much as yes, the coach has got to answer for it, because there's no trophy. You know what I mean? And you came in.
yeah,
you know,
yeah. This one I
you,
think was even more heartbreaking because of the fact that they blew the final whistle and then they brought it back.
mm,
Before there was no final whistle. It was, the penalty
yeah,
came and then
yeah,
it was, is this guy gonna
yeah,
score or not? But this one, when they blew that final whistle,
yeah,
everyone thought the game was over. So it was
yeah.
more
The
heartbreaking in that
controversy
fashion.
around it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
Um,
see that high to a low as well. So,
mm,
you know, that's why I say like if either team would have won, you wouldn't feel too bad about it, you know. But I still, yes, they must answer for it because at the end of the day, the result is the result. So, you know, the person that's really in charge
mm.
must really answer, you know.
Yeah, other things in this game, and Tlabakanya was included. He was vice captain. He's gonna continue to play. His hearing is in. He's been charged, but he hasn't been suspended, so his hearing is in December. He's gonna continue to play. Horn was the captain. Again, inexperienced captain. There were moments where he was going for line, where maybe he should have gone for points, but I'm not
Yeah.
too tough on those situations. Uh, Chris Smith, terrible game. Chris Smith had a really bad game. I don't like to call players flat track bullies, or that they perform against lesser teams, but he was he was rattled, and he didn't have a good performance. And I think
Mm.
even throughout the tournament, to keep on changing flyer. I know URC players came in and whatnot, but to keep on changing players, especially at 10, and then you see Dobela come on and do so well. It's I would have just I would have even hooked Chris Smith earlier, but again,
Yeah.
it happens.
Mm. It happens, and I think yeah, that's actually good that you point that out, because you know the URC players come in. You know, we've seen here where guys, you heard Lamini say that they've been together for the past 3 years. You know, so it's more or
Yeah,
less the same squad. You know, they consistent. They know what to expect of each other. They know, everybody knows where they stand. You know,
yeah,
whereas on the other side, yes, as much as you may be the so-called bigger union, but it's a what makes it, yes, cool as you say, what makes it more heartbreaking, but what makes it worse is that when you look at it, you know, they it was it was one game where you really, really wanted it to happen for the Lions. And for me, on the one side, it's yeah, because Mzwake Nkosi was, the guy that was in charge. But on the other side, it was like, yeah, but it's because of your shenanigans off the field, and it results in, you know,
yeah.
in this, where you one moment you got it, then you don't, and that's what happened, for them. So yeah, it's a tough one, Curtis. It's a tough one because where do they go from there? The Lions. I mean, you had your
Yeah.
Angela Davids playing more key players, big time players, and it's just not happening. You know?
Mm. Just other things that happened in this game. Poor kick chase from Griquas. Q and Horn shows his value. He's a guy that puts, like we
Mm,
said, he puts points on the board. That try is him, and he does that routinely. If you put up a poor kick chase against him, he's gonna punish you. Um, Strong carries. Creel, he's playing 12 with Marius Lowe departing. It looks like he's gonna be the inside center there. He's gonna move from wing to inside center. Dobela went well. Uh, what else? I think also for me, you've got inexperienced players, like the hooker is inexperienced, and you putting him on to play large periods of the second half, and then the lineout just disintegrates. So there's things like that and it's like I watch the Lions every week. I know this guy is shaky, and then you're putting him in a hectic situation. Like it's not something that you know what's going to happen. It's You need your set piece to function in a normal game, let alone a final
yeah,
where now
yeah,
you
yeah.
under pressure at the lineouts. He's in an attacking sense. You're pushing. You're not going for poles. You're going for the
Yeah.
try, and then he box, and then it's a turnover. And then now when you're under pressure,
Crucial.
you can barely get out.
Yeah,
So
that was a
it's
big moment.
sometimes it's things like that where I don't know, the player is inexperienced. He's not great at lineouts, but you as a coach, it's your decision, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and that was a big moment in the game. You know, you could look at it, you could even put it down and choke it down and say, yeah, that's where they lost it, you know, because
Yeah,
that's where I think the sort of the Griquas then realized that nah, we still in this, we can still do something, you know, we don't
yeah.
know how, but it'll happen. And yeah. And I will say this though as well, you know, the officiating team was a lot also lenient, especially in the 22, you know, in
Yeah.
that they let the game flow. And I thought it was good for final, you know, but
It
although
was
some
good. The
of the
only
things,
thing, I mean, I'm not going to
yeah,
complain, but the Oosthuizen try, he led with his elbow,
yeah,
but I mean, you get away with
yeah,
that a lot of the time.
yeah,
But that's the only thing
yeah.
for me where I can say like, okay, this is like a real moment. Other than that, every other
I,
decision is kind of like
yeah,
par for course. It's kind of like just what happens. You win
yeah.
some, you lose some. It
That's
was decent.
yeah. That's what you know I liked about that. Like for once, it wasn't one of those finals, you know, or those games where you know you'd say the referee. But here's a question, Cordis. Why didn't they put Pete on?
I don't know. I don't know why they didn't put him on. And this is also what I talk about. Uh, Conversely, when I was talking about like the hooker and them
Yeah.
giving him Monet Brandon a lot of time to play, if you look on the other side and you look at the scrum offs on the other side, they played Caleb Abrams until the last 10 minutes, or they played him until like the
Mm,
last like 5 minutes. It was like right up
mm,
until, and then they put Percy on, and it's like they knew how important he is to what they're doing, but the
yeah.
substitute is of a high level, but they knew when to bring him in.
Yes.
For me, I just feel like they don't know when they're not thinking about when to bring these guys in at the right time because you could like you said Pete could have played and I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Nico Steyn fan. I feel like he's a good player but he doesn't there's no progression. He's not
Yeah.
taking it to the next level. He's not taking the next step.
Yeah, and I say this, do you know why? It's when it was still 5 points in it, Lions 5 points ahead. I think it was probably like 65. I can't remember hazy memories, but it was somewhere around there where the Lions were still ahead, you know, by
Yeah.
5 points, and you could just feel that this just needs one more knockout, one
Yeah.
more try, and it secures the game for the Lions, and they can take this home. And that's where, like, I was wondering, you know, why they're not putting this kid on because he's gonna give you at least one in a
Mm.
game. He's going to give you one whether he's assisting it or whether he's engineered it, you know, whether through a kick or a break, and he's put somebody on. But he will give you one, and yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But it's
Griqua
happened. It's
land,
happened.
Griqua land.
Any closing remarks, Chris?
Look, it's a big test week for the box. Box will win it, but hey, yeah, we just got to keep those Pumas. We got to keep them in check. You know, keep them in their cage. Don't let them get the momentum. And yeah, I think we should get the result.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get the result and let's get bonus points, everything. Seal it up.
Yeah, hey,
And then
yeah,
we
full
we we
house.
go to HQ and we do the job there. But I think
Yeah.
that's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.